What if I told you that just 1 year of heavy resistance training could help you maintain strength for years after you stop? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, a new study put this to the test, and today we're going to break down exactly what they found and what it means for you. Whether you're new to training, approaching retirement, younger and already training, or just thinking about long-term health, you won't want to miss this. We will talk about what the study showed, why it matters, what to do based off it, and when's the best age to start. Because even though the study was focused towards older people, it gives insight into biological changes that can happen if starting younger that can help your future self. So let's dive in. First, what the study showed. So this study was part of the Live Active Successful Aging, or LISA project, where researchers wanted to see whether heavy resistance training could have lasting benefits for older adults, even after they stop training. This also brings up why you'd want to be starting resistance training younger, which we will also talk through. They recruited 451 participants all around retirement age and split them into 3 groups. One group did heavy resistance training, so pretty much your standard hypertrophy work in the 6 to 12 rep range rather than any 1 rep max kind of stuff. Another group did moderate intensity training, so more endurance based, less focus on heavy loads. And a third group did no structured training at all. They were the control group. So everyone trained for 1 year, and then researchers followed up 2 and 4 years later. That's right, they wanted to see if the effects of training would last long after the structured program ended. So how did they track progress? So the main test was looking at isometric leg strength. In simple terms, that's how much force your legs can produce. And to keep track of body composition, they used a DEXA scan, which measures muscle and fat changes. Alright, here's where it gets really interesting. 4 years after the study began, so 3 years after training stopped, they checked in on their participants. First up, leg strength for the heavy resistance training group. They maintained their strength levels even after stopping formal training. Their isometric leg strength stayed almost exactly the same as when they'd started out, even though there was a decrease in lean leg mass. So what actually happened? Well, if you look at graph A, you can see that the leg strength went up after the first year of training, which makes sense, and then decreased over the following years, which also makes sense. But going back to baseline, so if you look at graph B, you can see the purple line for heavy resistance training with only the points from the start and to the 4 years later. And if anything, it's still slightly higher. Meanwhile, the moderate intensity and control groups, the orange and the green, lost strength over time. In other words, 1 year of serious weight training helped people maintain baseline muscle strength for years, while lower intensity training just didn't have the same effect. And I hear this a lot, especially in older people who say they do a lot of exercise. And what they mean is that they're only doing walking. But that just isn't enough. This shows you have to be doing resistance training, and there's a benefit from doing it younger, which we will discuss in a second. So why does this matter? Well, losing muscle strength as we age is a huge problem. It affects balance, mobility, independence, and even longevity. When I used to work in the hospitals, I remember seeing a poster on the wall which said that 10 days of bed rest for an 80-year-old is the equivalent of a year's worth of muscle loss. That stuck with me because that's crazy. So you better make sure if something does happen when you're at that older age, you've got years worth to lose. Otherwise, it's downhill quickly. One of the most devastating things that can happen when elderly is a fall, causing a neck of femur fracture, so a fracture of the hip, as the decline in mobility can be pretty severe afterwards. So having enough strength to weather that is good, but even better is to ensure you have the strength to just catch yourself and stop the fall in the first place. That can be years added onto your life and years of discomfort minimized. But here's the big takeaway. If you commit to just 1 year of heavy resistance training, you could be setting yourself up for long-term muscle health. This isn't just about looking fit, it's about preserving function and quality of life. So why did heavy lifting have such a long-lasting effect? Well, it comes down to how our muscles adapt. When we lift heavy weights, we activate fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for power and strength. These fibers are the first to go as we age, but heavy resistance training helps keep them around. On the other hand, moderate intensity training mostly works as slow twitch fibers, which are more about endurance. It's great to do this for heart health, but it doesn't have the same long-term impact on strength. You have to be working on both. So what's the best thing to do? So if you want to future-proof your body, here's what I'd recommend. 1, incorporate strength training at least 2 to 3 times per week. You don't have to be a bodybuilder, but you should challenge yourself with heavier weights. 2, focus on compound movements, squats, deadlifts, leg presses. These hit multiple muscle groups and give you the best bang for your buck. And 3, don't fear heavy weights. If you can do 15 reps easily, it's probably too light. Aim for a weight where you can manage 6 to 12 reps with good form, but getting towards that failure point. So when's the best age to start? If you're never in retirement, this isn't too late. This study shows just that. However, if you really want to thank yourself when you're older, start young, as soon as you can, because heavy resistance training is one of the best investments you can make in your health. So why would it be better to start earlier? Well, if you're younger, it showed that prolonged training across the lifespan is associated with permanently elevated acetylcholine receptors and improved neuromuscular function. Resistance training may therefore be beneficial for function beyond the influence of muscle size itself. So the acetylcholine receptors are important for so many things, one of them being the initiation of muscle contraction. So think that quick firing, which as we mentioned, might just be that thing to stop a fall happening in the first place. So one of the best things you can do for your older self is lift weights now. And if you're new to lifting weights, it's never too late to start. Find a good trainer, focus on proper form, and start with manageable weights and build up gradually. I hope you found this video useful, and check out this video next, which goes through how to minimize injury risk while you are lifting, with 5 tips for you to follow to maximize the results while minimizing any issues. Thanks for watching, keep strong, and I'll see you in the next one.